Hello, everyone. Welcome again to another Lazy Show where we teach you AutoCAD in a way that is more productive so you can stop wasting your time. So as always, we show up here now every other Tuesday around 9 p.m. with a new live stream, a new way to save you some time working in AutoCAD. So we're gonna start the presentation right away. Let me start sharing my screen so we can start today's presentation, which is gonna be awesome. We're gonna help one of you guys live today, and we're also gonna have some time to do some Q&A, so I can help you with any questions you might have regarding AutoCAD. All right. Okay. So let me start getting ready over here. All right. Hope you are doing great today. So let me start. All right. So today we're gonna have a lazy question for people who don't know what are lazy questions, right? Well, lazy question is a way that I found so to help you with anything AutoCAD related, and it's basically a series. You email me your question, your file, your drawing, whatever you can send me, and I'll help you live. Like today, for instance, we're gonna talk. We're gonna help a friend with his blog, and here is the email that he sent it to me. Let's read it really quick. Um, so, all right. So says Irving, first of all, I find your videos to be both informative and entertaining. Your accent is fun. I was watching your video Advanced AutoCAD Dynamic Block with attributes, constraints, and fields. And that video is, let's see over here, dynamic blocks. So we have an entire series on dynamic blocks, which is right here. I think this is the video that he's, yeah, I believe this is the video. Advanced AutoCAD dynamic blocks with attributes, constraints, and fields. So that's the video our friend David is referring to, where again we set up some constraint and parametric dimensions to make this block or area more dynamic, right? So we can save some time. Anyway, so that's the video if you want to take a look at it later. But let's keep moving with David's email. We have a couple of comments on the chat. We're gonna let me read it first so we can continue. Georgina is on the chat. Hi, Georgina. Hope you're doing great, Georgina. Thank you for being here with us today. I know it's not the usual time. We did live streams for many years every Sunday, but now we are trying this new time, this new schedule every other Tuesday at 9 p.m. So, and that is Pennsylvania in the United States time. All right. So, hope you're doing great, Georgina. Georgina says hello. Hi, Georgina. All right. So, let's keep moving. All right. So David continues and said, I found it very interesting what you can do with dynamic blocks. So I tried one for myself, And I'm trying to do a similar block to that in the video. I like to use bubble diagrams and want to try them in AutoCAD. So he sent me his file and we're gonna open it in a moment. I like the bubbles to have an attribute and field display values similar to the video and be representative of the room size. For example, a 144 square foot room would be a bubble that fits inside a 12 feet by 12 feet square. I can get this to work using a simple circle with attributes by constraining the circle to a square that's on a non-plot layer, but I like my bubbles to have a little flair to them, like shadow lines, and that's where I get lost. I'm thinking the scale action on just the bubble and the flare parts, background mask and a shadow line, and not the attributes. But I can't figure it out how to get the bubble to scale to the correct size bubble. Any help you could give would be appreciated. So let's open our friend David email. File, which is right here. So let me open it. So we can start um, better understanding this friend requirement. Georgina is happy. Hey Georgina, I'm glad that you are happy today. um, all right. So this is David's file or drawing, and if we um, take a look at this first, I think this is a block. So David says, "This is how I like the blocks to look. This block I scaled, but it is difficult to scale to get the correct area." All right, let's see. Right, right, and then he have an attribute inside, so he can change, let's say 200. Click OK, and then he will have to manually adjust the block size. All right, so let's undo that because that's not what our friend wants. Second, this will work if I start from the actual block, though I can't get a hatch or masking polygon to work. Area controls the scale. Okay, so he have another block here. Let's take a look at it. Um, so he says also if I copy the block and change the area to a smaller number, this happens. Okay, so that's the same block. Let's see. What's the name of this block? Area bubble. And this other one, also area bubble. All right. So to give you a little bit of more context here, so the block we created again before, the one that I show you that we did on YouTube, has the option to select it, and from the properties you can input an area, right? For instance, an area, I don't know, let's say 10,000 per center, and you can see that the circle is adjusting per the area. So he got that right, but he's having problem again with this shadow over here. So let's see how we can help our friend and try to figure this out. Um, so um, one of the first thing I want to try is, of course, after getting inside the block, right? So I'm gonna first undo everything with Control Z a couple of times. Right, that's the drawing, and this is the block. So I'm gonna get inside the block by going to the block editor, and over here, let me try first. Let's see what he's using. So he's using a circle. with some constraints. As you can see, these icons over here are constraints that were used from the ribbon, from this geometric constraint. If you hover on it, it would also tell you it's the tangent constraint, and a couple more of those. But that's not the problem of our friend David, because he already figured it out how to scale the block per the area input. His problem is about this shadow. He's not able to adjust accordingly per this circle. Um, so what I like to try first is I want to let's see what he's using. He's using a circle and an arc. Okay. So let me do a save as of this block so I don't mess it up, so I can always go back. And the way I'm gonna save as this block is by going on my ribbon and click save block as. I'm gonna call this area bubble LA for Lazy Arquitecto, and I'm gonna click OK. So now I'm inside a new block, so I can modify anything as I wish. Now, since we know the arc is not working, because again, if we test this block and change the area to a different one, let's say 300 per center, maybe 600 per center. Let me close. Let's close it and save the changes first. So that's the old block. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna insert the block that we just save as with the insert option. And over here, I'm gonna go to current on the drawing, and of course, the area bubble LA or Lazy Arquitecto is right here. I'm gonna insert it like so and click OK. Great. Again, this is another block now that we just created. Again, let's change the area. Okay. So let's then, instead of using an arc like this one over here, let's use a circle, right? Let's try with a circle now. Again, we're trying to figure it out how to achieve something like this with this shadow that is going to be linked to this circle. So I'm going to go inside this block and simply remove that arc. I'm going to delete that. And I'm going to draw another circle with the circle option or circle command. Press enter. And I'm going to draw a circle from this center point all the way up to here. Now, I need to move that circle, so I'm going to move it with the P option or last option, pressing L and enter. And now I need to move it where I need to, where it looks like a shadow, right? So I'm gonna move it somewhere around here, like so. Okay. Now, so that's the shadow. Now, before I worry about masking this up to show only the circle, I want to test if this will work, right? If this will adjust. So what I'm gonna use is I'm gonna use a geometric constraint over here from my ribbon. It's called equal. So I'm gonna try that out, see what happens. I'm gonna select my original circle, which is this one, and then following instructions on the command line says select second object. I'm gonna select my second object, which I want to be the shadow, and now it was added a equal geometry constraint. So basically, we read a bit. It says constrain two lines, polyline segments to maintain equal length, or arcs and circles to maintain equal radius values, and that's what we want. Now let's do a quick test. So I'm gonna click test block, and let's see what we get. So I'm gonna go to properties. Let's change the area to something like 500 maybe. And it's kind of working. Um, but let's see, let's test it one more time. Let's say 10,000. So it's working, but halfway there. As you can see, when we input a larger number, you can see that the shadow here on the circle starts getting lost, right? It's very, very thin, and that's not what we want. so so let's close the test block editor then, and let's try something else. Let me erase that circle, um, because again, it's not working to achieve what our friend David is requesting. So what we can try next is then, let's see what happens if we use an arc instead. All right. So let's see, how do we do this? So I'm gonna undo a couple of times because I want to create an arc, but I don't want the arc to be to have any constraints yet. So I'm gonna erase the constraints of this circle by going on the geometry option. There should be an option that says, here we go, delete constraints. That's the command that we need. I'm gonna delete the constraints of this circle of the shadow. I'm gonna press enter, and now this is a regular circle. Now I want to convert this into an arc, so I'm gonna use the trim command to trim this circle from this point, so that way wait, okay, I have a circle right there. Let me see if I can get closer, and that's right there. Okay, so now I have the arc and the circle. So let's see if I can somehow match the radius of this circle to this arc. So I'm going to use the same geometry equal constraint. So I'm going to click on it, select my circle first, select the second object, which is going to be this arc, and boom. Now let's test it really quick, see what happens. Again, we tried the circle, didn't work. We're trying an arc now. Let's see how it works. So I'm gonna go over here and change my area to something like 500. Okay, it's kind of working, as you can see. So let's see, 10,000. Okay. So again, we can see now that it starts getting thinner and thinner for the shadow, and that's not what we want. So this is a challenge block that we're trying to help our friend again with a lazy question. Hmm, let's see. Okay, so let me close that out. Uh, hmm. So let's try something else. Let's try to move this right about there. Okay. Hmm. So as you can see, guys, this is not working either. So let's try something else. Again, we're doing this live. This is again a blog that we received from one of you guys that emailed it to me, and let's see how we can figure this out. Okay. So let me close this and discard the changes. Let me see over here. Let me change it to 500 maybe. Nope, that's the block that our friend sent us again. So let me try one more time. Going to the block editor. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try one more time the equal geometry constraint using this circle and this arc. So let me close the block editor and save the changes to test things out. So I'm gonna copy this block over here and let's see. Properties, let's say not that 10,000 by half, 500 or me. Yeah, sure. So as you can see, we are halfway there, guys. As you can see now, the arc, it's following the circle area, as you can see, and it's keeping the distance also. Remember before using a circle, we had this shadow area skinnier and skinnier, but now look what's going on. It's working. So let's try 1000. You can see the shadow is keeping consistent, so we are halfway there. Let's say 200, 2500, and here we go, guys. So we're making some progress here. Again, what we're trying to achieve is this request by David that says that he wants to keep a shadow here on the circle to update per this circle dynamically, of course. And we got it to work, but we're halfway there because we also need the hatch over here. But we have we have some comments on the chat, and it's our friend Shaik. Hopefully I'm pronouncing it right. Shaik. Hi, sir. Thank you for being here with us today. It's awesome that you want to learn how to save your time working in AutoCAD, right? That's why we are here today and helping one of you. This person, David, that sent me this blog, this email. Again, is asking for help with his dynamic blog, and that's what we're doing this live stream today. I hope you're doing great, Shaik. If you don't know, we are here every other Tuesday at 9 p.m. and that is Pennsylvania time in the United States. So hope you're doing great, and let's keep moving. So let me get over here. All right, guys, we're almost there. So we got the arc to follow the circle, as you can see. Let's test it one more time just to see that everything is working as expected and just beautifully. So of course, if I regenerate, the information will update as per our friend David. Um, so great. Now let's try to hatch this shadow area as this other block. Um, so what I'm gonna do is go back to the block editor, and let's. So I need to use the hatch command, but there is so much information here. What I'm gonna do is isolate these two objects by using the isolate command, and I'm gonna use the hatch command, of course. Now I'm gonna pick the solid because that's the hatch that David is using, and in this case I want to use the pick internal points. Now an important part here is to make sure the associative option is checked, so that way our hatch can follow. So I'm gonna click here and press enter. Now this is a challenging test for the hatch because again this circle is constrained, have some parameters. Also, if we unisolate everything using the unisolate command, you can see again this is a very complex block that our friend David created using our tutorial that we did a couple of months ago, and he applied the same techniques to his personal work, right? In this case, this area tag. But let's see if the hatch is gonna follow now when we update this information. Let's cross fingers, guys. um, so the hatch is there now, and let me go over here under properties, and let's change this area to something like maybe 5,000 and press enter. And no, we have a problem, guys. You can see the hatch that is right there. It's still very tiny. It's not following the arc, it's not following the circle. So we have a problem. All right. Let's go to the comments now with 5 people connected live. That's awesome. So let me read your comment first before we keep figuring this up. We have a comment on the chats. Is Shaik. Shaik says, how can I request you for a problem like you are doing now? Shaik, that's a great question. So there are two ways, right? The first way is you can send me an email, right, with your question, like David did it. So he sent me an email with his drawing, his blog, everything. Let me share my screen. And I'll do these live streams, and you will find it under the Lazy Question series. We have so many, again, all of these different folks that requested my assistant or help creating this blog, creating a custom macro command to automate some task, and so on. That's one way. So this way, what happens is that it will take longer because, as you can imagine, there are many folks that are emailing me and sending many different requests. And then the second way is by joining our membership, right? You might not know, but we have a membership. Maybe I can show it really quick. Um, so we have a membership. It's right here where we help professionals to streamline their AutoCAD workflows. And here, if you send your blog, your drawing, whatever you need help with, you'll find the help that you need quickly, right? With your blog, with your custom macros, anything that you'll need help with. And of course, you'll have access to all of our blogs, which we have probably 40 or something like that. What is it? Yep, about 30 blocks, about 40 macro commands, and more. So again, you can access all of those also. But those are the two ways, my friend Sheikh, it's hard to pronounce, to again send me your request, your blog, your drawing, and to help you. All right. Good question from Sheikh. So let's keep moving. Now, so how we figure this out now? This is a challenging block from David. David, I don't know if you are live with us today. Probably not. I don't know. But you're pushing us to the limits, my friend David. So, what else can we try then? We already tried the associative hatch and it's not updating per the shadow and the circle. So, okay, I have an idea. So I'm gonna close the block editor and of course erase the hatch because we know even though it's an associative hatch, since this is a complex block using constraints, parametric dimensions, and so on, as you can see, uh, we're using here, if we open and the parameters manager, where is it? It's right here. We can see again that we're using different action parameters and using kind of a formula for the area. But again, this is not about this because we already created a video and I already went over where to find that video. But so let's keep trying then for the shadow to make it work. So I'm gonna erase the hatch then. And what I can do is, okay, I want to try something. I'm going to copy this to the side. Something about 10 feet. The distance doesn't really matter. It's just so I know exactly where I moved it. 10 feet. And what I want to try is, let's see if I can trim this circle. Okay, great. I can trim it. All right. So now these are arcs. Now, from my experience working with, we have a comment first. Let's see. Shaikh says, I think this might work if we add hatch in scale selection set. In scale selection set. So are you trying to scale the hatch? I mean, we could scale a hatch, but the hardest part would be to scale it from the center point of the circle so it scales correctly. And not only that, but the direction of scale will need to be in this direction also. So that's a challenge. Let me try something else first. Good suggestion, Shaik. Let me try something else first. So let's go back here. What I'm trying to do here is, from my experience, I know associative hatch will work with enclosed or selected polylines. So what I'm gonna do is try to create a polyline using the join command. And let me select that. Go to my properties, make sure that that's a polyline. That's great. So now let's try to hatch this, right? Using the hatch command. And in this case, I'm not gonna use the pick point, but I'm gonna use the select objects. So I'm gonna select the polyline, make sure associative is selected, and I'm gonna press enter. So now let me try something. Before I move it back to the circle, I want to test it first. And how I'm going to test it is, I'm going to add an equal constraint again, selecting my wait, let me refresh first this drawing. So I'm going to use again the equal geometric constraint to select the circle, and then as a second object to select my arc or polyline right here. Press enter. Well, not press enter, it automatically does its thing. So I'm gonna test that before I move it to the circle again. Let's see, under properties, I'm gonna change that to maybe 500. Press enter, and you can see that the polyline with the arcs are scaling. But let me check the hatch. Great. The hatch is now associated with this polyline, which is great. So we are doing more progress. Let's see what happened when we move it back now to the circle. So let's close. Of course, we don't need this this arc anymore, right? We don't need that. So let me move this polyline back 10 feet. Press enter. And let's see, let's test it now. Test. As you can see, the hatch is right there. So let me change it to 900. And it looks like it's working. Let me see over here. Something weird is happening, right? It looks like it's working. Let me test it one more time. Make it bigger. Press enter. So the hatch is associated now, which is nice for the shadow. But there is something there that doesn't look quite right. Why we have 3 different lines there? That's not right. Right? 1, 2, and 3. So to better understand this, I'm gonna copy the block on the side and simply explode it. So that way I can better understand what's going on here. So, okay, that's the hatch. Let me erase the hatch. And as you can see, look what's going on. All right. So let's select the circle. Oh, here is what's happening. So the circle, it's getting, or the shadow is getting in the way of the circle. As you can see, that's the shadow, and that's the circle inside the shadow. That's not right. Okay, so let me try something else. Now that I understand what's going on, let's see over here. So since the circle is adjusting to match the radius of this arc over here, because we used this equal geometric constraint, let's try the same but to match the other arc, which is this arc right here. So let's try that and see if that will fix it. So let me use the geometry equal constraint again. Select the circle, select the arc, not this one, but this one now. Select that and let's test the block. So I'm gonna go ahead, go to properties, test it one more time to something like 9,000 and press enter. And beautifully, it looks like now it's scaling correctly. So I'm gonna do a final test by simply closing the block and saving the changes. And look how beautiful these look. Awesome. So again, a quick test. Let's say 5,000 now, but 10,000 for the area. And boom, this is working beautifully, guys. So David, here you have it. We were able to help you fix your dynamic block, make it more efficient again, so that way you can have this block and save some time in your architectural drawings. Awesome, guys. So what do you think about this dynamic vlog? It was a challenge one, but I think it kind of helped us to better understand the use of constraints, the use of how to link different uh, objects, right? In this case, we have an arc here with a shadow that we somehow linked it to this circle so they both can adjust accordingly. Awesome. All right, guys. So let me go to the chat, see if there is any questions about today's presentation. Um, let's see. Let me go over here. So let me see before we wrap up today's presentation, which was a challenging one, right? Again, but I'm happy that we could help David in this case with his blog. So yeah, let me see if there are. We have still some time to do some Q&A. Shaik is on the chat, I think. Oh, so I think this question was from before. So yeah, your recommendation was also a good one, Shaik, but we were able to figure it out without having to scale the hatch or anything like that. We were able to use constraints and we were able to achieve this beautiful block now. Awesome, works beautiful. The circle now is nice and neat. And here you have it, David. Hopefully you're happy with your block now. All right, let me see if there are any last questions or maybe ideas, right, for future videos. Again, we do these live streams every other Tuesday around 9 p.m. So if you're interested on saving time, on working more efficient in AutoCAD, right, this is your channel. You should join us. We're gonna be here. So let me see. All right. I guess we're gonna wrap up then today's live stream, which was great. We had some folks on the chat also participating. Georgina, Shaik. Hopefully you can join us not next Tuesday, but the other oops, let's see. Okay, all right. So then I'm gonna stop right here, and hopefully I can see you again on our next live stream. All right. So have a wonderful rest of the day or the night, wherever you are. Here in the US, is the night. So I'll see you soon.